Greetings and welcome. This is the Badbury Herbalist SR of the badburyherbal.co.uk. And today I'm going to be showing you how I was able to help a friend locate her lost keys within 5 minutes. This is the Badbury Herbalist SR. As I said, ancient astrologer of the badburyherbal.co.uk. Now let me show you how I helped my friend locate her missing keys. Alright? So let's get down to it right now. First of all, what happened is on Tuesday, the 18th of October 2016, a friend of mine texted me at exactly 5:17 p.m. She texted me and said that she had lost her keys and that she was finding it hard to locate where they were and she couldn't remember where she had put them. And she asked if I can generate a horary chart to help her locate the lost keys themselves. So, what I did, as usual, the Badbury Herbalist SR, ancient astrologer, I generated a horary chart instantly. And this is what came up, all right? Now, first of all, what I looked at, because I used ancient astrological aphorisms within all of my work. Astrology is not about guessing. It's about using strict formulae, putting them together, putting the aphorisms together, and coming up with a viable answer based upon the ancient astrological rules. It's not about guessing, it's about actually using the rules themselves. It's very similar to playing chess. It's very similar to computer programming. Very, very similar. You just follow the rules and you come to your answer. It's like mathematics. All right. So this is the chart that was generated 18th of October 2016 at 5:17 p.m. All right. Now, first of all, I looked at the ascendant. The ascendant, which is this line here that says AC, the ascendant and the cusp of the ascendant and the sign that it's actually on and the ruler of that sign signifies the person asking the question. All right. So in this case, the ascendant is Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is right over here in the 10th house in Capricorn in its exaltation. All right. However, you see this square right here? This square between Mars and this planet down here, which is Uranus. Uranus is associated with explosions, fiery tempers, and unexpected disturbances. And because Uranus is right in the first house, this proportion here is the first house, Uranus, spontaneous Uranus, is right in the first house of the person who's asking the question, and it's making a disharmonious square to Mars, which signifies the person asking the question. This tells me that the person is very frustrated right now because something unexpected took place, which is frustrating them and not allowing them to go and carry out and live their life in the exalted state that they planned to live it. Okay, so they plan to do something, i.e., take their keys and leave the house and go somewhere, but they're unable to do this, and this is frustrating them. All right. The other thing I looked at, looking at this chart, is as far as I'm concerned, the third house rules anything to do with transport. It rules your car, it rules your bike, it rules your motorcycle, it will rule the bus, it will rule a train, a cab, and it even rules your keys because your keys are used for transportation, getting through doors, coming out of doors. It also rules communication of any kind, all right? And in order for you to communicate with the outside world face to face, you will need to use your keys to go through the door. Therefore, keys themselves are ruled by the third house. So therefore, I look at the third house, which is here, which is the cusp is on Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. All right. So Mercury in this case rules the keys, which is very fitting because Mercury rules is a natural significator for keys anyway, especially within these horary charts. Now Mercury, which is over here in the chart, combusted by the sun. All right. So this tells me that the person asking the question, my friend, they are so frustrated, and the sun is making an opposition with spontaneous Uranus as well. So they're so frustrated that it's making them overlook where the keys actually are. All right. And also, Mercury, which signifies the keys, is also in Libra. And because Mercury is making a square to Mars, and Mars signifies the person asking the question, Mercury actually receives Mars into detriment, because when Mars is in Libra, it is in detriment. So Mercury is receiving Mars into detriment. So therefore, Mercury, which is the keys, is stopping Mars from being able to act in the way that Mars wants to act, i.e., the keys and the condition of the keys and where the keys actually are is inhibiting the person who's asking the question from being able to go about their daily life. All right? Because Mars is now in detriment as a result of Mercury, which is the keys, receiving Mars, which is the person asking the question, into detriment. All right? So this person can't move because they can't find the keys, and they're vexed because they can't find the keys. They're angry, they're frustrated. That's why they're asking me, they're consulting me. All right? So let's get down to it right now. That's why I observed. The other thing that I looked at was the fact that this ascendant is at 3 degrees and 59 seconds. Now, in ancient astrological aphorisms, if the ascendant is within the first 3 degrees of the sign, that usually means that the person asking the question, i.e. the querent, has not given sufficient time to think and to think out their question, to actually find a way to solve their query themselves. So in this case, my friend, she lost her keys, and this ascendant being 3 minutes 59, 3 degrees and 59 minutes, sorry, means that they have been looking for it, but they have not been looking long enough, because it's only just gone past 3 degrees, all right? But they have been looking and they are frustrated, so they are very impatient as a result. So as soon as I received the text, what I said to her, I text back to her and said, it looks like, according to this chart, that you haven't given yourself enough time to look for your keys, all right? And then she texts back to me and replied, I have been looking. I've been looking thoroughly because I need to go and pick up my son from school. So I need to find these keys right now. And that confirmed to me everything that the chart actually showed. She's frustrated. She can't find the keys, and it's delaying her from going out and living her life, basically. So let's apply the ancient astrological aphorisms to actually find these keys. What do? We put the 4 rules of finding any lost item in Horary. Number 1, we need to establish the ground it lies upon. We look at the 4th house, which is down here, and the cusp of the 4th house, and the sign in the 4th house, and the ruler of the 4th house. And then we look at the sign which rules the actual thing that is lost. In this case, it's the 3rd house, which is here. And then we look at the part of fortune, which is over here, and the sign it's in and its ruler, which is over here. And then we look at the moon, and the sign that the moon is in and its ruler. So let's apply those 4 things to find the keys. And this is exactly what I did on the day, and I was able to help her locate the lost keys. So here we go. The 4th house cusp is on Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Therefore, the lady of the 4th house is the moon. The moon is right over here. So straight away, this told me the moon being in the 2nd house. The 2nd house rules resources, money, purses, wallets, anywhere where money is actually kept, all right? And the moon actually being in the 2nd house tells me it's very likely that the keys themselves, because the moon signifies the keys as well. The moon is a co-significator of anything lost. So the keys themselves may be lodged in the purse. And the fact that the moon is in between Taurus and Gemini, it has just changed over to Gemini, which means it has just changed signs. This tells me again that is very likely lodged in between some type of fabric inside the querent's purse. All right. And then we look at the ruler of the moon, which is Mercury, which is another co-significator of the keys. And then the ruler of Mercury is Venus, and Venus is right over here in the 8th house. The 8th house rules other people's money, and Venus was in Scorpio and has just changed over to Sagittarius, all right? Which means because Venus was in Scorpio, which is a sign of her detriment, and 8th house rules other people's money, this tells me that the person asking the question, the querent, my friend, she must have went out somewhere and spent some money, and as a result of it, she must have misplaced her keys and put them inside her purse. And the reason why I say that is because when Venus was in Scorpio, which is a sign of her detriment, she was making an opposition to the moon, all right? And because Scorpio is the fall of the moon, that means Venus, which is her money, and the 8th house being other people's money, means that when she actually gave the money to somebody else, when she was taking the money out of her purse, the keys may have fallen into her purse while she was making a transaction, okay? That's how you use the symbolism and put it all together and find out exactly what happened beforehand. All right. And the moon is separating from Venus by 1 degree. So that means like 1 minute ago, 1 hour ago, 1 day ago, very likely 1 hour ago, that this transaction took place, and then her keys fell into her purse while she was making a transaction. All right. Okay. Other people's money translates to you giving money to somebody else and making them rich. All right. So the next thing we look at is the house which rules the actual subject or item which has been lost. In this case, it's the keys. And as I explained, the third house rules keys. Therefore, this proportion here is the third house, and the third house is ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is right over here. As you can see, Mercury is right over here, and the ruler of Mercury, because Mercury is in Libra, is Venus, and Venus takes me back to here, which tells me again the same transaction again. All right. It's the same place. Then we look at the path of fortune. The path of fortune is in Scorpio. All right. And Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is right over here. Mars is ruled by Saturn. And as you can see, Saturn is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is ruled by Venus. And Venus is right over here in the 8th house. Other people's money. A transaction took place. Okay. It's lodged in between something again. It's lodged in between something. All right. Then we look to the moon. The moon, again, tells me the same thing. It's in the 2nd house, which means it's in the querent's purse. All right. In the querent's purse. So putting all of that symbolism together, which I looked at, and I'm going over this very briefly. There's a lot more that's involved, but I'm going over this very briefly because this chart was actually very obvious to me exactly where the keys were. Yeah. So straight away, I looked at it and I thought to myself, since the moon, which signifies the keys themselves, is in the 2nd house, and the 2nd house symbolizes the color of green. And then when we actually look at the ruler of the 3rd house, which rules the keys, which is Mercury, and Mercury is ruled by Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is right over here in the 8th house, and the 8th house symbolizes the color of light green. I thought to myself, maybe the querent's purse is actually green, or the inside of the purse is actually green, and that's where the keys will actually be. So anyway, I think it's within about 5 minutes after I received the text back from her saying that she's been looking for her keys and she needs to find them because she needs to go and pick up her son from school. I text back and I said to her, you need to look in your purse. It seems like the keys themselves are lodged in between something. Look near your purse. And then after I sent that text, I thought to myself, it's probably going to take her about 10 minutes to actually find the keys themselves. And the reason why I say that is because the moon is right over here, which signifies anything that has been lost. And what happens is the moon moves across, and as it traverses this sign, which is Gemini, it makes an opposition with this planet here, which is Saturn. All right. Saturn is at 13 degrees. Sagittarius, and the moon is at 1 degree Gemini. So as the moon moves all the way down, it will make an opposition within exactly 12 degrees. It will make an opposition with Saturn. Yeah. And Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is where Mars is, and Mars signifies the person who is asking the question. Therefore, when the moon makes a perfected opposition with Saturn, which is the ruler of the querent, the person asking the question, that's when they are likely to actually find the missing item. So I said to myself, within about 10 to 12 minutes, she'll probably find it and text me back. So within about 10 minutes, I received the text back from her, and this is what she said. She said, I found the keys. They were in my purse. They were lodged in between the fabric. Thank you so much. And that's it. That is how you use horary astrology to find missing items, missing people, and lost objects. Okay, this is the Badbury Herbalist Asar, ancient astrologer of the badburyherbal.co.uk, and I will be back. Okay, I will be back.